Hello, wonderful listeners. A quick update for you. I have created a paid subscription for the podcast. For 99p a month, you can get an extra bonus episode per week and a monthly workshop episode where I go into a lot more depth, a lot more detail, and provide a lot more structure for your self-development. Now, whether you are a loyal long-term listener or just ready to go deeper on your self-development or just generally want to support the podcast, I would love to hear from you, and you can find the link for subscribing in the show notes. Enjoy the show. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Self-Improvement Project. We are closing in on 200 episodes of the podcast, so I hope you're looking forward to us reaching that milestone of self-improvement, I guess. And also, maybe if you're new here, to know how much resource there is since the start of the project as well, that is timeless, and you can go back and visit it whenever you feel there is a need to. Hopefully the topics that you need at that time are there for you. A few that have come to mind recently that are a bit timeless include everything around our identity, so taking ownership over our identity or an identity prison. There's also the element of time wealth and how life can move so quickly, and are we doing the things that we really want to be doing? Simplifying our life, slowing down a little bit more. Hopefully these things resonate you or with you when you need them to. I hope you're well. I hope we're in the midst of January just now, where it is cold and wet here. So I hope where you are there is a little bit more sun and warmth. But in the meantime, we may be getting our heads down, working hard on ourselves during this time, improving ourselves. But today's episode is a reminder around the effort that you are putting in and how that will be of value for your future self. Something that perhaps it's always been the case, but we seem to feel a lot of more so now, is being disengaged from the present moment and worrying a lot about what our decisions now, or our lack of decisions now, can lead to in the future. Whether that's our future selves not benefiting from our present decisions, or missing out on opportunities that we could have created for ourselves as well. So this is all about thinking or being in the headspace around how we can perhaps be more present, but also give ourselves a little bit of a break when it comes to that. Leaning into that idea of you can put your effort in and you can have the right intentions, but life is going to happen. Leaning into that idea that you can't control everything, and I guess trying to create peace of mind with that. We can overanalyze all the little decisions that we make and attributing outcomes to that. This can be a little bit toxic to ourselves, because if we always think like that, we'll never win, or we'll constantly be in that state of regret, or that state of guilt, I guess, as well. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially once we're out of the structure of the school and education system, around accomplishment, achievements, where we should be at a certain point in our life. And that only doubles down on that state of worry when things don't go as we maybe planned, hoped, or that idea of a linear life, which for some reason or other we are told to expect that as part of our life. Lean into the fact that there are millions of different ways your life could pan out, and you are only going to live one of them. There will be times where it's good, there'll be times where it's bad, there'll be times where it's pleasurable, there'll be times where it's painful. But you will experience everything that you are supposed to experience. There is no pressure to live a certain life. There is no pressure to walk a certain path. And we can almost be stopped in our tracks or stuck with fear because we're overwhelmed by this as well. By being stuck, by being in this state of panic or fear, this is what tends to remove any clarity that we have, and also can affect our confidence, can affect how assured we are within ourselves. And a lot of that just comes down to acceptance, not just of oneself, but acceptance of life. Acceptance that there are so many options, and we're potentially lucky that we have so many options available to us. And there is also this almost ploy that exists where we think we know what we want, but we never do. When we get whatever we want, we realize that that isn't actually what we want. Sometimes when we get what we want, we think that's what we want forever. But as maybe I've referred to in some of the more recent episodes, you should be changing. You shouldn't be staying in one place. Life is for living. Change comes with that. You should be changing as you go through time. And this is what I'm talking about, leaning into what life is telling you. I'm not too spiritual in that sense, but life has a way of presenting things to you when you need them. Whether that's you need to focus more on work, whether that's you need to focus more on your social life, whether that's you need to focus more on your own thing. And when you give into that and you don't try to control it, that's where you get your luck from. That is where you get that serendipity from as well. When this happens, we take the pressure off ourselves, and as we usually experience in life, when we don't have that high expectations of things, life seems to be a bit better. Now, I know it's a bit of it's not realistic, essentially, to think that we can live like that. It's the same with being present. Being present is lovely to be able to do, but it's wrong to tell you that you can only live that way. We fall out of it consciously, and subconsciously even. When we think about it, we do it, but then it falls away. So it's nice when we revisit it. It's the same with expectations. If we lower them, we have a good time. But naturally and without thinking, they get higher, and then we find ourselves plateauing with our happiness. Whilst we lean into the things that life is trying to present to us, I think it's important as well to lean into the things that interest you. There's a reason things will pop up, or you'll meet someone, or you'll discover something that interests you, and you might be a bit of a novice, but that excitement stage of when you find that thing is brilliant. It's almost childlike when we're in school and we do something for the first time, or we learn something. Why not lean into that a little bit more? There is no rule that exists within life that you can stop doing that. As a human being, if you lived with that intention, you would still not be able to learn everything that is there and out there to learn. There is no rules around what you should be interested in, what things you should find easy, what things you should find challenging. Exploration, experimentation, these are some of the pure joys in life that you have the option to utilize. So there's an element here, this whole concept of removing pressure from yourself with your life, as well as leaning in to what life's giving you and your curiosities. I hope you can connect the dots here around what's important to you. And based on whatever situation you are in right now, listening to this podcast, that these thoughts and these connections will help you with the stage that you're at. Maybe you do need to lean in a little bit more. Maybe you do need to lower your expectations a little bit more. Maybe you just need to spend a few days being present. Maybe you need to stop trying to catch that butterfly and actually just sit back and see if it'll come towards you. Whenever we do this and we don't put in the effort or feel like we're chasing, we think we're not doing the correct thing. We think that that's not natural. But by slowing down and taking a step back, sometimes it actually unlocks the thing that we want from the chasing as well. So I guess the big question here is, what does this mean to you? What does this concept right now mean for you whilst you're listening to this? I've had some wonderful messages recently about people using these episodes to provoke thoughts and to journal, to write down your thoughts, to create clarity. Write down your thoughts and your answers and your perspectives to the big questions and ideas that come from this podcast. So that's my challenge to you. How can this episode today help you with whatever it is that you need in your life right now? And that's us today. I hope that has been useful, helpful. I hope that stopping, pausing, going back to listen will help generate these new thoughts for you and just give you that assurance that what you're doing just now is probably the right thing for you. Lean into what life's telling you, take a step back from the pressure that you're putting on yourself, and see how it goes. If you find anything revolutionary for yourself, or just enjoy the process of it, write to me. Let me know how you find it. And I would love to hear those stories and obviously write back to you as well. So, thank you very much for listening. I'm making a habit in 2023 of asking you if you enjoyed or loved that episode, or just enjoy or love the podcast in general. Please share it with someone that you feel would benefit from it. Share it with a friend, share it with a family member, share it with someone that you maybe think needs this right now. And hopefully we'll create some serendipity for myself as well. So thank you very much for listening, and I will see you all next time. Cheers. Hey guys, me again. I hope you enjoyed that episode, and if you're not ready for the Becoming Unstuck in 30 Days self-led course quite yet, why don't you try my free ebook I created? 5 simple steps to improve yourself and your life. I made this during the very first lockdown of the pandemic, in the early days of the Self-Improvement Project. It's a quick go-to when you're feeling unsure what to work on when improving yourself or your lifestyle. And the great starting point if you're trying to figure out how to live a more fulfilling and simple life. The link for this will be in the show notes for you. Have a good one.